Hey guys, Josh Austin Cigars here, and yes, to my regular viewers, I know a couple of good people that watch my videos regularly are like, wow, you guys, you're actually uploading right now. Yeah, a lot's been happening, like I always say, and for the billionth time, it's like, I'm back again. But to anyone else watching this, I'm doing a review on this wonderful beast of a machine, the EcoPro 2 by ELM USA. So basically it's a disc repair machine, and man, this thing, if you are a major seller and has the money to purchase something like this, buy it. It will save you lots of money and even time compared to a lot of other machines. It's just fabulous. Because prior to this, I had a JFJ Easy Pro, and for the money, it is absolutely the best value. For under 200 bucks, I have to give it that. But there was one major problem with that machine, was the swirling finish you would have on the discs. Like, even with its polish pads, as you could say, I put that in quotations, polish pads, it still gave me like results that wasn't up to my satisfaction. And especially when if you are a Amazon seller and you need basically to have this look almost near perfect, you can't, and you know, if the customer doesn't like it, it's just headaches. I mean, for eBay, if you're selling on eBay, you know, there's a little bit more slack, even I noticed, for the customer base. But when it comes to Amazon, everything needs to be picture perfect, and the last thing I want to do is deal with returns. So I'm going to give you an example right here. This is a PS1 disc that's actually resurfaced by the JFJ Easy Pro. And I don't know if you can tell, but if you can see the swirling, you can see those are not scratches. There's like still some scratches on it because it's been lying around on the floor. But those big swirl marks you see, like the pattern, like that. Yeah, there you go. That's probably perfect. You can see that right there near the top there. Those are swirl marks. Now, underneath a regular light, it's not that bad. Not that bad, actually. You can still see them, but I'm also very particularly picky, so I have a nice bright light. I'm assuming CFL lights, and yeah, it is really noticeable. So I'm going to see what this EcoPro 2 does. I've done it with a couple PS1's discs. You see some patterns, but it is a lot better. Trust me. If you have, this was a demonstrator model, so basically if this was, used at a trade show to demonstrate how this machine works, this costed me, right now they have it brand new with an 800-minute supply kit for, I think, $14.50. This costed me $10.95. And I know if you call them and they have like an actual used refurbished one, it can be as low as $8.95, which is nuts. But yeah, this one you can just see like the swirls. Not to my liking. Some people might be okay with it. eBay, again, the customer base, if you describe it to them, they'll be okay with it as long as you match preconditions. Same goes for Amazon, but still, I've had issues in the past regarding that. And then here's a disc that's just completely destroyed. Like, I'm going to give this a run as one of my demonstrators on how this machine works, but I won't be surprised if still at the end when I finish with everything, it's still going to fail. Like, it's still not going to work, because there's some pretty bad scratches. I don't feel any of them. Like, they're not deep gouges, but it's definitely scratched up. Like, I don't know. Some of them, just some discs are beyond repair, so I won't be surprised if this fails on me. So basically you get the machine right here, and then behind here is the hoses to the two bottles. You get one bottle, which is the water, one for water, and then the second one is for the solution. That all comes with it. And then you have this little key card right here you insert that allows you to use the machine. I know this sounds odd, for 800 minutes of repair, and it's in 30-second cycles. I know off the bat that kind of seems a little, like, I wouldn't say sketchy, but it's a little bit eerie. But ELM USA has been in the business for a long time, And I know people are gonna think, wow, that's kind of weird. They're really charging you to purchase a key card purchase a key card to use your machine that you bought. So technically you haven't really owned it. I know it sounds a little odd, but again, ELM USA has been in the business for a while. And their explanation is that a lot of machines, you don't want to overwork them. This kind of apparently regulates, the use of the pads and overall the machine internals itself. And I'm pretty sure if, let's say, ELM USA goes out of business, they probably give us a key card or give us a different machine where you don't need to worry about that, and they'll just have settings inside the system itself. Because, the EcoPro is a pretty, I believe the design, the blueprints, the original one, it's been over 10, 15 years old. So, back then, technology is limited. It's just basically a second generation EcoPro, because I know there's a EcoPro 1 which looks a bit different. It looks much older, so what can you do, right? But I have no problems with it. Even if, let's say, they abandon this and not give us a key card or a replacement machine that doesn't require to repurchase, you get your money's worth from one key card, which is 800 minutes repair, so 30-second cycles. You get a total of 1,600 cycles, which is a lot. This is a lot. So basically you just turn it on here. As you can see, I used it a lot. 800 minutes originally it'll start with. I'm down to 467, so that's 333. Anyway, so I've used this 666 times. 666. But anyways, just a superstition, right? And as you can see here, the hoses go through here. So you got 2 of them for the compound, 2 of them for the water. And then right here is the buffer pads, the rough buffer pads. And I'd recommend it, especially if you're an Amazon seller, to get these, which are the mirror finishing pads. They're the equivalent of JFJ's. Well, it's the equivalent of using JFJ's white buffer pad and putting the I think polishing number 1, because that's what I believe is the polishing actual quote unquote mirror finish compound. Even though, like I said again, I used a mirror finish compound on this disc and it still looks, it could look a lot better. But again, for less than $200, what do you expect? I'm comparing a $200 machine to a pretty much $1,000 machine. Of course, you're gonna get much better performance, you like to hope, with a machine like this. But the thing is, a lot of it was overrated. I don't want to talk much about the JFJ because this isn't the video for it, but there's a lot of good talk about it. But when I used it for my needs, it's it's not the 100% the greatest. But again, maybe when these are running through the cycles, I could talk a little more about it. So we're gonna actually try this first, to see this is actually repaired, because this one I know works fine, but this is not WCW. Oh my god! But SmackDown versus Raw 2008. Sorry, it's just been a long day for me, a long couple of weeks. To people who watch my channel, it's just been crazy. So yeah, some pretty bad scratch. That's gonna be. So basically, you put the disc in, you have your pads in. They're removable by Velcro, and also there's a couple functions here. You can also check how much time these pads have been in, and then you also got water percentage, I'm assuming. How much I think the compound's been used since this key card. And then you also have a setting to change it from CD to DVD or Blu-ray, because the way Blu-rays are pressed and the coating or something along those lines, it's a lot more gentle. See, the big thing about this machine compared to a lot of machines, regardless if they're cheaper or more expensive, is that it's really gentle on the disc, because there's a lot of things I know I'm going to mention at the JFJ. It sounds so rough. It sounds like it's destroying the disc, even though it's not. But it's definitely a little bit more rough on it. This one's a lot more gentle, but it doesn't compromise the end result at all. So Anyways, we'll let this go. And close it like that. Oh, I should switch it. I should actually switch it to... My bad. I should switch it to CD DVD again, not put it on Blu-ray. My bad. So go to CD DVD, close it. CD DVD, it's 30 seconds. This is definitely going to need more. So I'm going to put it for, you press start, you can add, it starts with 30 seconds, then it adds a minute every time. So, and that's basically much it. You just close, you press it and set it. And you can hear the hoses pump out the compound and everything. Very easy. And the biggest thing I liked about this compared to the previous machine I had was, although I do wipe it a little bit, especially for the mirror finishing pads, you don't have to, but the big issue was it'd be really messy. For my previous machine, you'd have to like clean it, wipe it, you gotta like cover the disc basically. And it'd be, you get all the gunk and all the compound on your hands. Apparently those compounds are kind of toxic of some sort, but I'm not sure. So right now, we're right here, it's drying. Now, I don't expect it to be pitch perfect, but we'll see how it is. Just like that, it opens automatically. And wow, that is already pretty impressive. You can still see some scratches here, but it's not that bad. And you do see this ring over, you see this kind of like swirl ring, like without the mirror finishing pads, but underneath a regular light, you wouldn't really notice it. See, under a regular light, you don't see that, like you see those scratches there, but you don't see that completely like circle swirl, which I definitely prefer over the previous machine I had. But since I'm a perfectionist, of course I have to have those mirror finishing. Like you can kind of see it under this white light. You can see that line there. Those will be gone when I use the mirror finish pads. So this needs, I'm gonna put in another minute. But man, when I first got this machine, I was using it the living crap out of. Like here, let me show you. A lot of these discs right here, a lot of them went through that machine and it was nuts what this thing could do. And just to make sure everything's good, I always test them to make sure they run fine. I've only ever had about 2 or 3 discs fail on me with this machine, but that's because, excuse me, I believe 2 of them were previously resurfaced by the JFJ. And again, I don't want to put it down because it's such a different machine and for the price, right? But since I mentioned before, look how quiet and how gentle this is on disc. And with a lot of those ELM USA products, man, they're great. The JFJ was pretty rough on them, just the way it sounded. I won't be surprised if the JFJ warped a few, or it just wasn't good. It just didn't perform. It didn't perform well, or performed in a way where it kind of damaged the disc, which is going to happen. So here we go. This, you still see some scratches. I'm gonna put this in for another minute, and I'll show you one disc that failed on this thing completely. Like basically, I didn't put it through any other machine. Well, I kind of did and kind of did not. Let's see if I can grab it here. It's this Midway arcade here. Like this one was like deeply gouged to the point where I'm looking at a ELM, I believe it's called the Eco Auto Smart, which is like an expensive machine, and see if maybe a little bit of a sanding could do something. But look at this one. This thing was completely covered like in scratches. Like there's a deep gouge right here that the EcoPro can't really get out unless I put it through a bunch of cycles, but then it's like I have to put it through 5 or 6 minute cycles, and it's not really going to guarantee to work. But look, here's basically a finished product of what that EcoPro can do. But, it's funny. On this PlayStation 2, it would not boot up. But under another PS2, like a Slimline, it would boot up to the start screen, but then it start skipping and everything. But that is because mainly it's this big scratch right here, and there's a couple of deep gouges you probably can't see through it. But, shows the capability. Like there's some really deep scratches on this disc beforehand. But some discs like are simply not repairable, regardless of how many cycles you put or regardless of what machine. Okay, let's try this again. So I'm gonna look at it myself. So yeah, there's that one scratch right there. Definitely an improvement. I'm just gonna feel it right now. I'll put it in for 30 seconds. See what happens. But yeah, it is what it is with some of these discs. I mean, some just, again, you can't repair them. No, there's the point beyond repair. That one, I will give it a try when I talk about that Eco Auto Smart, which is basically it's an inexpensive machine. Like I was able to secure a refurbished one that's basically be put on hold for me when the supply is there, because they're out of stock for a decent price. But I know brand new it goes for 6,000, and it's nuts. So let's see this again. Yeah, see, there's some, again, there's only so much that this machine can do, especially when it comes to real deep scratches. Now, I know the JSJ has that sanding paper or something, but you are really risking warping and damaging the disc, like, especially when you're manually doing everything, putting the sandpaper in. At least with the Eco Auto Smart, which I've given a game store had, and I gave them discs. It's very gentle, like, and it's all automated too, so you don't have to worry about human error almost. So yeah, this one, I don't know if it's gonna be there, but you can see it's definitely a lot better. So let's try this PS1 disc now, which I know works for sure. You just got the swirling. Put it in for 30 seconds, should be enough. It's not that scratched at all. Man, this has saved me a lot though when it comes to a lot of like medium scratches and even heavier scratches. Like I had a Def Jam for PS2, which is a very expensive game, and like it's like a $60-70 game. And it was pretty scratched up. It was like scratched up like this SmackDown versus Raw, but the gouges weren't as bad. It just looks scratched, and now it looks like mint, and it works perfectly fine. So you can see right there. Yes, you got a little bit. You can see those swirl marks there. Yeah, see, that looks under a CFL light. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Under this lighting, though, you can barely see it. Yeah, you can see it a bit. But with the finishing pads, I have to give Ghost credit to these mirror finishing pads, which I'm going to remove these. All right, so I put the finishing pads. It's basically Velcro right here. These have been used extensively. I think they're only good up to about 200 repairs technically. Well, I don't know, 200 cycles, I don't know, but they seem to work still fine for me. I haven't used it always on like if it's like a DVD or a CD. I've noticed like on a regular DVD or CD, you only need those buffer pads. That circular swirl I showed you just recently with the black disc isn't as bad. So let's see what I'll show you what the mirror finishing pads can do. You remember how they look like after the buffer pads. Now, you can put it for about 30 seconds. It depends how much of a mirror-like finish you want. But this thing, again, I said it like twice, it's an absolute workhorse. It's great. I'm gonna boot up my PS2 right here, actually. It's probably not going to. Honestly, I have high doubts, but again, there's that disc. It's pretty much could be toast. But I might try it again when I get that Auto Smart. Here we go. You look at it right there. You can see that though that circular swirl around is gone. You still see those scratches there. I mean, those are again deep gouges. What can you do? I'm gonna plug this in. Let's make sure everything's there. Oh, I gotta yank out this Wii I was testing and make sure those are the right cords. Yes, right AV cable. I won't be surprised if this fails on me, but hey, I'm just showcasing you what this thing can do, because prior to that it was unplayable, and this PS2, its laser isn't the best. So see, let that root for a bit and we'll throw this thing in. Here we go. Oh, okay. This wouldn't get past the title screen, by the way. Okay, PS2. Oh, this might be good. We'll see. Again, this laser, again, is not the greatest. So I won't be surprised, but seems to be good. Wow. Okay. X. I know, again, it's probably good if I knew for a fact that a disc after its repair cycle would work for sure. But again, there's only so much you can do with certain discs before you have to trash them. Wow, it's actually running. This is impressive. You know, also, you know, depending on the certain scratch of the disc, if it's like towards the center of the layer, that's where the data is stored in like more, I don't know, what's the word, more fine, like in more finer bits, then you're kind of screwed. But wow, that's nice. It made it past the start screen. It would not even boot to where that loading screen was, but it's on. Here, let me get that a little bit centered better for you. That is awesome. And let's turn up the volume a bit so you know that. Yeah, it's working. Beautiful. On. Let's see if it runs here. You know, it's usually what I notice with a lot of discs, when you repair them, regardless of machine, the transitioning, you need to let it play for a bit to make sure it works. But wow, it actually is working. This is nuts. Wow. I had some doubts. But like I said, sometimes there's some scratches that if it's scratched in a position where it's bad, you're screwed. But it looks like those scratches didn't really affect the disc that much. There you go. It works fine. That's beautiful. I mean, I don't know if I'll sell it with those big scratches that, like, not really deep. Like, they're like deeper scratches, but you know, we'll see. It's like, I could definitely list this as a better condition than it was before. Wow. So, okay, this PS1 game popped up. So, after the mirror finished, under this light, under the white light, you can kind of see the swirling. Let's see if I can focus on it here. Yeah, you can kind of see it. If you were in person, you'd see it a lot more. But it's not that bad. And again, you saw the previous swirls of it after using on the previous machine. Those were a lot more visible. This one you can't really see as much. But under this kind of lighting, the regular lighting, it's pretty much flawless. Let's see if I can get that zoomed up. Like, that's beautiful. See, it looks practically brand new. Like, even on my own eyes here, it looks brand new. It's nuts. I'm just looking at it right now myself. So, I mean, for my sanity, I would still wait till I would rather wait till I get that Echo Auto Smart to get the finest and most promising finish. But yeah, you can see just how great this machine is. Well, I'll plug it in to this PS2 and boot it. Should boot no problem. It was working no problem beforehand. But that's just a good demonstration of this machine. It's just, if you have the money for it, like if you don't So there's like two little sets, you know, if you really are in a tight budget and you know, you sell on eBay and you're fine with it, see a boot's fine. You know, JFJ EcoPro is definitely a good machine. But if you have, let's say, if you can spend a bit more, like maybe $1,000, 1,200, go for this machine. This machine is just great. It's just awesome on all levels. It is just awesome. Turn this off. It's just beautiful, man. It just really is. And then if you have the money for even more expensive, like I say you have $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. But right now I believe the Echo Auto Smart, which a game store across the border, but I can't go anymore because the borders are closed, uses, that's also a great machine. Like that's the machine I would use for PS1 games or discs with some really bad scratches, and for everything else I would use this. I'm still kind of surprised that this thing actually booted, because there are some scratches there that look pretty hasty, but good on that, I guess. Because with the Midway one, I don't know if I pulled it out. I believe so. There's just some scratches that I believe it's closer to the center, and it's a pretty bad one. There's only, you know, it would boot on the PS2 Slim, but for some reason it would not boot on the fat PS2. So this works fine. A lot better. Seriously, a lot better. Very impressed with this machine. Got my money's worth, definitely. So that is my review on this beast of a machine, the ELM USA EcoPro 2. If you have the money for it, and if you have a business where you deal with a lot of discs, let me turn that off. With a lot of discs, you need to buy this machine, because this is, I can't complain about it. I am very satisfied with this machine. I know it's a little bit of a gimmick here with this chip thing, but I trust ELM USA to figure something out if they ever discontinue this machine or they go out of business. That is it, guys. And to my regular viewers, if you're still watching, you're probably like, oh, he's doing a review, he's not gonna talk about this. But if you're still here, I'm trying my hardest. I am really trying my hardest to get things back together. You see right there, there's one of my cigar reviews notes I was taking. This is back in March. And I still have cigar reviews in March that I have to edit. But do with everything right here, like you see all this stuff, it's like crazy. And with a couple of certain things going pretty well recently, you know, certain things I acquired, certain things I accomplished, you know, I haven't had time to do YouTube. But, you know, it's a bit of a nice to, you know, just to record and basically talk about this machine and just upload again. But that's it, guys. Again, I know it's such like an informal video to review a machine like this. I wish I had better lighting, I could, you know, everything, had a proper setup to review this machine, but this machine has been so good to me, I just had to do a review on this. If you have the money for it, about $1,000, it's about $1,000, $1,450 brand new, you know, $10.95 how I got it for a showroom demo used one. Buy it, it's worth the money. And make sure you get the mirror finish pads, which are an extra. The mirror finish pads right here, they're about, I think for the two, it's $12.95, you know, and I'm very picky, and this works wonders. But that's it, guys. Hope you enjoy the video. You know, when I get that Echo Auto Smart, or if I can get my hands on the JFJ EcoPro, in which I can kind of compare it directly, I'll try that. Again, it's like comparing apples to oranges with the price, with a huge markup in price, but you know, it's good to show tiers of disc repair machines like that. So that's it, guys. Josh Huston Cigars, out.